Welcome to this FPL stream on Fantasy Football Hub. A lot to talk about. A humongous week of goals, of points, a high scoring week. I was happy with how I got on. I hope you were happy with how you got on. And I'm joined today by Big Man Bakar, the handsome devil. He's here. He's ready to drop all this knowledge on us. His rank, nearly half my rank. I don't know how that happened, considering you've coached me through pre-season, Bakar, but here we are. I'm at 810 and you're at 379. How was last week for you?
Thanks for having me, John. Very nice. Very happy with the start of the season. 78 points. So it's been a very solid week for me. I was lucky enough to have Luis Diaz, James, Cucurella. So despite the fact that I had Salah captain, like I'm sure most of us did, I ended up with the 78 point score, which is something I'm very content with. And to be very honest with you, I mean, there's not much difference between a 350k rank and a 700k rank, like you suggest, because you're probably just one haul away from catching up with me, if not overtaking me. So, I mean, at this stage of the season's ranks really don't matter. There's so much to play for. Because, at this point, a lot of us have similar teams. There's a lot of time left for people who are behind and chasing to catch up.
I'm thinking of tearing up the script, Bakar. I'm thinking of going balls to the wall. I'm thinking of going crazy, but we'll get to that. But you're right, it's so early. We've only 4 game weeks under us. Rank can be gained or lost, and I got a 78 pointer as well this week, albeit with a different team than you. And I went from something like 2.5 million to 800k. So like you can just fly up rankings and down rankings at this stage. Whereas maybe later in the season it'll be harder to gain and maybe you won't fall just as far. But anyway, what we're going to do is, this kind of structure for the show, anyone who cares, is we're going to have a look at how we both got on last week. We're going to have a talk about a bunch of hot topics that have kind of come out of the weekend's events. We have a very quick turnaround to the midweek game week. And then we're going to have a look at our plans for next week, and then we'll answer some questions from everyone in the audience. While you're there, guys, please do drop the like now, because if you don't do it now, you might forget, and subscribe to Fantasy Football Hub for lots of FPL content this season. And Bakar, I don't know, I didn't plan on announcing this officially, but am I correct in saying we've got the big man once a week for the rest of the season?
Yeah, for sure. I'll be here every week with you. Can't wait to discuss and share my FPL enthusiasm with the rest of you all for the rest of the season. Should make for entertaining viewing, I hope.
I hope so. So I think that's good news for us all. So that's surely worth a like. But Bakar, we're going to have a look. I've got your team on the screen. 78 points. Overall rank 379139. I'll let you tell me about it, and then I'll maybe talk about it as well. But you're obviously happy with 78 points. But what stands out to you with this team?
I like the structure that I have. I have a 8 million midfielder in place with Luis Diaz, and to be honest with you, there's not much improvement which you can see when you look at that team right away. I mean, sure, there are a few players that you'd want, but I mean, you can't have them all. So I mean, at this point in time, I'm very happy with where I'm at, and I look at it this way, John. Like, if I was wildcarding right now, I don't really see where I change too much, right? Because I like the defense. I mean, Trent finally came good this week. The Chelsea boys have started getting some returns. Perisic has been a very good player to own over the past couple of weeks. So, I mean, I don't see where I change too much when I wildcard.
You know what they say, Bakar? It's not Pokemon. You can't collect them all, so you do have to make decisions.
Yeah.
And I was talking to someone today, and we were kind of talking about is how, with the pricing of players this year, we've just all got obscene teams. You can quite feasibly put out a starting 11, all with sort of top 4, top 16 players. And it leaves, I know Abdul, for example, has burnt a transfer, at least one, maybe two. It doesn't leave a lot of room for wiggle or change, and we've all fallen into a very similar template very, very quick. That normally happens. But this is really live, by the way, Ali Sabra. But I'll get to my team after you, but I'm really debating what to do next week. But in terms of this week, the sort of thing that the huge talking point is obviously, and we may as well get on to it now, you captain Mo Salah, and he got nothing in a 9-0 win.
Yeah, I mean, what were the chances of that happening, right? I mean,
millions.
The only good saving grace was that, I mean, more than half the world had him captain, and it's okay. It's just a freak event that happened. I'm not dwelling too much on it because his numbers were still great. He was just not clinical enough, I would say, to haul that day. Um, and it's just one of those events. I mean, if I saw that scoreline 9-0, if I had known that before the FPL deadline, if I had told you Liverpool were winning 9-0, me and you might have ended up triple captaining Salah rather than not captaining him, right? So it's just one of those things, and it's an anomaly which I'm not really focusing too much on because Salah's stats are still good, and I still think he's a very good player to have.
It's the same. I said this to you. Well, I didn't say this to you. I commented under a Twitter post of yours when you basically said that. About last week, I captained Jesus, who didn't do very much, if anything at all, whenever Salah got the goal against United. And at the time, in my head, I was like, the decision was correct. I was happy with the decision because Jesus looked incredible. Arsenal looked brilliant. He created a goal, but was the second assist almost, and had a goal disallowed by a whisker. But this week again, it was very similar. Captaining Salah, they win 9-0. You've done all you can at that point. You really have. Then it comes down to, ultimately, I feel like I say this every week, but it's a mantra I almost live my life by, not just FPL. It's like as long as the decision is sound, the outcome is irrelevant in many respects. As long as you make the right decision pre-deadline, once that deadline passes, whatever happens, it really doesn't matter. And all you have to do then is make another decision for next week. And I feel like everyone who captained Salah, the decision was correct. You can sleep easy. It is what
Exactly.
it is.
I mean,
it's life, baby.
I mean, you can't control him missing sitters one by one, right? I mean, it's not something in your control. I mean, there are times when luck again goes against you, and it was just one of those occurrences.
So, is there anything else on your team? We're going to talk about what you're thinking a bit later, but in terms of dissecting the week, was there anything you regretted doing? Anyone who surprised you?
Not necessarily. I mean, I saved the transfer because I had nothing to do, and overall, I think it was the correct decision because the team did really well, and it was basically whether or not, because Chelsea weren't looking great before this week. I'm glad Kukurea came through. Cancelo is the one who's slightly bothering me now because he hasn't been delivering according to his potential. That's a worry, but I'm going to give him the Forest game for sure because I mean that's not a fixture before you sell Cancelo. It's as simple as that. His numbers haven't been that impressive, but let's see what happens in the weeks to come.
That smells like people getting rid of Cancelo. Smells like people getting rid of Trent last week. But we'll maybe get onto that. I'll flash my team up on the screen, Bakar, and to talk you through it just in case you can't see it. I had I'd got 78 points, but we had a few different players. I had Ramsdale in goal, who let me down. In fact, the whole Arsenal trio of Ramsdale, Martinelli, and Jesus let me down. I had Haaland. I had Salah captain like half the world. Pascal Gross with an 11-pointer was beautiful for. Really, really happy with that. And then I had Kukurea, James, Robertson, Trent, and Cancelo. I'm sick of it. Everyone's booing at home. They're saying, get the name right. I don't care. What do you call it, Bakar? Is he Cancelo or Cancelo?
I think it's Cancelo. I'm not sure though. I mean, I might be wrong as well.
Kucherella
I
or
don't claim to be an
Kukurea?
expert on this one. Sorry?
Kukurea or Kucherella?
Kukurea.
Okay. I love I that winds me up more than anyone else. But I'll tell you two things about my team. A couple of things about my team. I really like it, is one thing. But second, Cancelo is annoying me. But so is Robertson. And I know Robertson got the assist. He swung the ball into Van Dijk. He did exactly what we expected he'd do. He got the clean sheet. But he got taken off again for Tsimikas. And it's not the first time. It's not even the second time. It's probably the third or fourth time this season. It seems to be happening every week. And it worries me because it makes me think that Robertson's going to be benched. And it might be in the Champions League. It might be wherever. I don't know when it's going to happen. But Tsimikas is getting more game time than he did last season. And I think there's going to come a week. It's just a prediction. I think there's going to come a week where Robertson's just outright benched. And we'll all go, oh, who saw that coming? Everyone can see it coming. It's coming. And I'm afraid it's going to happen. And I almost think getting rid of Robertson, going down to a Dunk or someone, banking a couple of mil, and upgrading elsewhere could be a move. But it's Robertson, and I don't want rid of him. It's the one season I feel like I can have him and Trent. So I don't want rid of him, but I feel I have to, Bakar.
I see where you're coming from, and I totally agree with you. The fact that he's been subbed thrice now in a row for Tsimikas, when that was actually a rare occurrence last season, as a bit of a red flag. it's actually red flag after red flag, so it's a bit of a worry. But having said that, John, you have to sort of take into account that he was taken off early, so that means that he's going to start this week now. There's a huge chance of that happening, and you ideally don't want to sell before Newcastle. Newcastle, plenty of injuries as well. There are actually rumors that Bruno Guimaraes could be out, Trippier could be out, Saint Maximin possibly there. I mean, they could be fielding a weakened side, right? So I mean, this is not the week to sell Robertson, I don't think, but. I do agree. A benching is coming at some point, but I don't think this is the week where it will happen.
Yeah, I need to have a deeper look at the fixtures. Maybe it's worth keeping them for one more, but I think whenever you have 2 free transfers and very little seemingly going wrong in the team and very little flexibility with the 4.5s on the bench.
This is something I want to address because a lot of people have 2 free transfers this week. A lot of people, and they're sort of like, what do we do? There's nothing to do. It's almost as if you're forcing a transfer just for the sake of making a transfer. And John, you are falling into that category, I'm afraid. Right? You don't have to make a transfer just for the sake of making it, right? I mean, just assume you have 1 free transfer. What would you do, right? You would probably save. So I don't think burning a transfer is the worst idea in the world if you can't see an obvious move, or sort of making a transfer to save 0.1 off your bench. I think those transfers are perfectly fine if you ask me.
I see in the comments here, this just a bit left field. Removed Ramsdale and replaced with Sanchez. For people looking to, they've got 2 free transfers of nothing to do. Is taking a bit of money back from the goalkeeper spot something you'd be for, or are you against that?
That's a very good question. I'll come to that when we discuss my team.
Okay. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. So, right, that's my team. I'm going to throw a few topics at you for the week, Bakar. We're going to have a chat about them, and then we're going to have a look at our plans for the upcoming week and answer some questions. So, first up, captaincy. What are we thinking on the captaincy front?
I was just having a look at the bookmakers odds, John, and Haaland is rated as 71%, 75% correction to score anytime this week. Salah is 51% to score anytime. City have been rated with a 70% chance of scoring 2 or more goals. It's Liverpool with a 50% chance. So, I mean, from those odds, it's very apparent that City is the fixture to target this week. So, for me, it has to be Haaland if we take into account that minutes will be similar. Now, whether or not they're similar is the big question. Because statistically, I have no doubts. Statistically, Haaland is by far and away, he's top for big chance involvements this season, XGI, you name the stat, and he's right on top of it. So when you look at the expected minutes, City played on Saturday. Now they're playing again on Wednesday, and then they play again on Saturday. What is important to take into account here is firstly the fact that City have had a reasonable turnaround between Saturday and Wednesday, right? So there's enough time, I personally think, for Haaland to have had a bit of a rest. The second thing is that City have Sevilla in midweek, and then they have Spurs immediately after in the Premier League in game week 6. So that tells me that maybe the Villa game is the one where the rest and rotation might happen, because that falls right before the 2 crucial games against Sevilla and Spurs, right? So as of now, I'm on Haaland captain because I expect him to start. But the key point is that as of now, because we never know what might happen tomorrow in the press conference with Pep. You never know if he comes out and says, like he did previously, that Haaland can't play every 3 days. Then of course I'll move to Salah, because Salah is the obvious safe play here. As I said, Newcastle have injuries; they concede a lot of chances on that flank. And I mean, I still trust Salah as one of the most reliable captaincy options in the games, and he's nailed for 90 minutes. So I think Salah is a very good choice. As of now, I'm on Haaland, but if Pep is a bit more, pessimistic in the press conference, then I might change.
Does someone like Gabriel Jesus even come into the thinking now?
No, not even remotely. I think it's very, very, very clear between 2 options this week.
don't be overthinking it. And I'm having a look there. Spurs are up against West Ham. West Ham haven't looked great. If someone has a Spurs guy, if you have a Kane in your team, are you thinking about it? Or is it just Haaland, Salah, don't be an agent?
Yeah, I just think Haaland and Salah are on another level as compared to Spurs right now.
Okay. So in midfield, we have a debate, kind of Gross versus Rodrigo. A lot of people brought Rodrigo in, Gross a little bit cheaper. Pascal Gross for the 11-pointer, Leeds relatively disappointing last week. What's your thoughts on the two of them? A lot of people have probably brought the two of them in. And people maybe are thinking of bringing them in. Just what are your thoughts on the two lads?
It's a tricky one, right? It's a very tricky one because I rate both of them very, very highly, very highly as options. They are likely to present great value. If I was picking one this week, I think I would go with Rodrigo. When I'm a stats guy, so when I look at the numbers very closely, so when it comes to XG, Rodrigo and Gross are very similar. And so is when you look at the Brighton and Leeds fixture difficulty, I don't think there's much in the fixtures as well. I think both have equally good fixtures in the weeks to come from an attacking point of view. What separates them from me is the fact that I think that Rodrigo's form is slightly more sustainable. He has more penalty area touches than Gross and thrice the number of shots. Now thrice the number of shots inside the box. Now this is the key stat here, that Rodrigo has 15 shots inside the box as compared to 5 for Gross. Now that is significant. And that tells me that Rodrigo is likely to have more goal threat going forward. And you never know with Bamford. There is news that he might come back sooner than expected. But you can't trust on that guy's fitness as of now. It's very unfortunate, but that's the case. And Rodrigo could be on penalties in that case. So I just think that these factors sway it in Rodrigo's favor.
Okay, well, I'm on Gross, so I hope you're wrong. But time will tell.
I might buy. I don't think I can actually stretch to Rodrigo in my own team. So I think if I do buy one in the coming weeks, it will have to be Gross.
Yeah. Okay. Another sort of topic is Perisic. He was very close to getting the assist with the penalty that was missed. A few different bits and bobs, but basically he's looked really promising. He's looked as promising, if not probably exceeded expectations of pre-season, and he was pretty hyped. You have him, don't you? Is it worth?
People sort of accuse me of having a Perisic agenda, John. I've been the one who's been hyping him up the most since preseason. I've had him since Gameweek 1, despite the fact that he was rumored to miss out. So, I've been a very strong advocate of including him in our squads. If you don't own him, I don't think this is the time to buy him personally, because I think that there's a very good chance that he could be benched against Fulham, because Spurs again have midweek fixture against Marseille in the Champions League, and then they're up against City. So I think Perisic is probably going to be needed for those two fixtures. This is a London derby against West Ham, very tough opponent. I think Conte will use Perisic in this fixture and then rotate him out in the next fixture. So just because of the fact that Spurs now have a fixture in which Perisic could be rotated, and then they have Man City in Game Week 7, I don't think it makes any sense to buy Perisic right now. But if I had him, I would keep him, because this is potentially the last good week from him that I see in our squads.
Okay. Perisic is one that I avoided. I got late news about him not training and didn't pick him in Game Week 1, and trying to shoehorn him in now is just not working. And this kind of leads on to another point. There's a lot about defenders, but one is about selling Neco Williams to upgrade to a better defender or a pricier defender.
Yeah.
Now, I believe Williams' underlying stats are actually pretty good, albeit maybe he hasn't scored as people would have wanted.
Yeah, so if you would have asked me this question, a week or 2 weeks ago, I would have been all for selling Neco Williams for a better defender, like, for example, Kukurea or Walker in the 5 million price range, or even Saliba or anyone in the Arsenal defense. But I don't think selling Neco Williams right now should be an option. I say that because when I look at Nottingham Forest fixtures, they have a prime fixture coming up in Game Week 6 at home to Bournemouth. And then they have another one against Fulham in Game Week 8 at home. Now, these are two fixtures where I potentially think that Neco Williams can haul. He's only behind James and Trent for XGI. Now that tells you all you need to know. He's first for shots among defenders. He has two big chance moments, if I'm not mistaken. So his underlying numbers are right up there with the very best. It's just the fact whether Forest can manage to keep a clean sheet in some of the easier fixtures they have coming up. But I just think he has all potential in him, and at this point in time, if I owned him, there's no way I would be selling him.
Yeah, I'm having a look there, just some of the stats, and he really, his numbers are insane considering he's a Nottingham Forest defender. But that just shows how advanced he is. I remember, was it the first game week of the season, watching him, he had 2 or 3 shots. So creative, and he was very good at Fulham last year, I believe. But yeah, sticking with the defence, I already mentioned this idea to you, but I just want to really go back over it about is it worth holding on to Cancelo, because Cancelo, I'm sick of it. I correct myself every time, and I'm sick of it, Bakar. So
That's
Cancelo, is it worth holding on to him or getting some cash back from him? Because I'm kind of sitting where him or Robertson could give me significant funds to distribute elsewhere and give me flexibility. And we all came into this season with the talk about being aggressive and, early, it's 4 sprints and not a marathon. And we have a wild card just around the corner. So I could pull the trigger, go and have some fun, maybe make Archer into a Tony, something like that.
I don't think this is the week to sell Cancelo, John. It's Forest. I mean, it's a fixture which could be 6-7-0 to City. I won't be surprised. I know that Cancelo's numbers are nowhere near as impressive as last season. His numbers have dropped drastically. But that doesn't mean that I advocate selling him before a game against Forest. I think the best and smart move is to wait this week and then reassess next week.
Okay. Well, Bakar, I'm going to try and pull up your team here. I'll just be 1 second doing that. And then the plan is you can give us an idea of what you're thinking about doing, and then I'll have a look at my team, what I'm thinking about doing. I'm just going to pull this up now.
Sure.
So people can see it. If we go over here, so if anyone wants to give this a crack after the stream, if you go over to the My Team section on Fantasy Football Hub, you could use the link in the description, go over, sign up, pick the free membership if you want. But when you go to My Team, if you go down to import, what's your FPL ID, Bakar? You probably know it off the top of your head.
1786.
1786, go. Up should pop your team. Unless my streaming is taking too much power. There we go. So your team's loaded in now, Bakar. Let me just check everyone can see what I'm looking at. A wee bit off, but close enough. People will just have to do without seeing the rest of the subs bench. You've got predicted points of 67.7 coming into the next game week. Game week rating of 93% and a team rating of 95. I've got the captaincy here on Salah, but you'll probably want that on Haaland based on what you said, which would put your predicted point 67.7. Haaland and Salah both predicted to get 7.4 points, but I think Haaland could outperform that. What is how many transfers have you got in the bank?
I have 2 free transfers with nothing in the bank.
2 free transfers. Okay. And nothing in the bank. What are you thinking of doing this week?
Why don't you tell me what I should do this week, John? Having looked at that team.
I'm not the expert. Okay, so for me, Jesus, Haaland, Salah, Diaz, Martinelli aren't going anywhere. Trent's not going anywhere. Cancelo's not going anywhere. Perisic, you wanted to keep him this week, didn't you? But you wouldn't get him in.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably the last week of him in my squad.
Okay, so and then the 2 Chelsea lads. Can't see you getting rid of them against Southampton after attacking returns. And based off what you dropped earlier, I'm thinking that you're maybe thinking of taking $500,000 back out of Ramsdale. But then you're going to put that 0.5.
Yeah, I'm torn between 2 moves, to be very honest. I don't think I'll burn the transfer.
Salah out, De Bruyne in.
I'm torn between 2 moves. The first is to sell Ward for Iverson for the free transfer. That would basically free up 0.1 million, and who knows, I might need that in the weeks to come. It's a very boring transfer, to be very honest. There's not much to talk about, but I mean, Leicester fans, they're being Leicester fan. Yeah, I'll be making 1 free transfer, and this is one of the options, right?
Do you think it's worth? Do Do you think it's worth it for the 0.1, like to not have a starter?
Because with Ramsdale, will I ever play Ward? I don't think so. And especially given the fact that I'm likely to wildcard in game week 9, I don't see a fixture where I'd play Ward.
Yeah.
And by the way, just hear me out. I was going to say that you say that Ward is a starter, but statistically he's been one of the poorest performing goalkeepers in the league, and Leicester fans have been calling him to be dropped for Iverson. So you never know. Iverson might come in the
Okay.
coming week. So I'm not sure whether Ward is going to continue till game week 8. Uh, Anyways, I don't think a starting keeper with a starting keeper like Ramsdale that will come into the equation at any point. Uh, so the logic behind making that move is to save 0.1. The other transfer I have in mind is what was suggested by one of our viewers earlier, Ramsdale to Sanchez. The problem is that this is probably not the week to be doing it, with Ramsdale facing a very struggling Aston Villa at home, while uh, I do expect Fulham to score against Brighton. So it's a move which could backfire this week, but if I end up making it, it's a move for the next 4 weeks. Now, thing is, over the next 4 weeks before I wildcard, John, I expect both Ramsdale and Sanchez to score similarly. I don't think there will be much difference between their expected points. So the logic is to free up 0.3, 0.4 million by making that transfer if I do it. It's definitely going to be either the goalkeeper, one of the goalkeepers I'll switch. It's either going to be Ward to Iverson or Ramsdale to Sanchez if nothing comes up in the press conferences tomorrow.
So Bakar, the beauty of getting rid of Ramsdale, I suppose, is obviously, it frees up an Arsenal slot. I keep finding myself looking at the Arsenal defenders and their value there, and I'm blocked because I've got Ramsdale, Martinelli, and Jesus as well. But I hear you. I like it, and I see a comment there, and just on this topic, I want to hit you with it. N is the name. It says the fact loads of people are burning transfers, and I'm not saying you are, over haul chasing is ridiculous. So some people believe maybe we should be playing a little bit more aggressively, where we have transfers, we want to keep our Martinellis and our Diaz's and our Haalands and our Jesus's and whatever else because they're great picks, and they all actually have pretty decent fixtures. That's kind of the problem. They have form, they're good picks, they're good value in the fixtures.
That's a legit point, John. John, that's a legit point, but to be very honest with you, do you see any player in my starting 11 who does not have the potential to haul?
No.
Precisely.
Cucurella, maybe?
I mean,
here's one for you, Bakar.
He was very attacking.
Here's one for you, right? You see all the way down in my plums, there's this dark, deep, dark feeling about Chelsea defenders. I hate them. I feel like, and I'm probably wrong, and Bakar, I'm not the expert, and I'm not the one with the numbers in front of me, but there's just something in me saying, these lads, James and Cucurella, are terrible people to have. We got lucky with the Albi attack and return last week to save us, but ultimately, I just think they're blanks waiting to happen more often than not.
I think with the addition of Koulibaly and Fofana, they'll be much more solid.
When's Fofana going to be ready though? Sure, he barely played last season. Top quality player. When's he going to play?
I expect him to come back soon. And even if you don't think he's going to be ready over the next 2 or 3 weeks, I mean, there's Koulibaly, there's Thiago Silva. They have a decent defense. And come on, I mean, you'd expect them to keep the likes of Southampton, West Ham out. That's the point, right? That's the next two. There's the next two fixtures. James has insane attacking potential. I mean, he's someone I don't even consider to be a defender. I mean, he's more or less an attacker. So it's just Cucurella, and even Cucurella was taking corners the other day. He's going forward, put in a very good shift. I don't think he's at risk of rotation either. So with the next two fixtures, I don't think owning a Chelsea defender is a problem personally.
Can I hit you hard, Bakar, and prey on all your insecurities and everything you might worry about and just make you feel really bad? There's 1,113 people watching us right now. Bakar, if I was to ask you how many of them have liked the video, what would you think would be like, oh God, no one likes us?
Less than 100?
95.
Oh God. People need to like this video. Come
95.
Yeah,
Out of
I'm up streaming at
1,000.
12:30 a.m. in the night, man. Come on.
100. He's up
Show some
streaming
love, guys.
at 12:30 a.m. in the night.
Show some love, guys.
Jeez,
Come
show
on.
some love. Get those likes in. Get them going. All right. Bakar, you can't hear it, but I'm throwing sound effects everywhere. So, yeah, let's see how that one goes. Let's see if our cry for help is going to work. But, Bakar, we have my team to look at. So, I'll import my team. What's my team? 4-3-6-4.
Man, I love your team. I forgot to say it at that point, but I really, really like the look of your team. You basically have Robertson and Gross over my Diaz and Kukurea. It's really, really nice.
Oh, he likes it. Okay. So I've got 2 free transfers, Bakar.
Yeah.
You can see my team, I assume. So, like, again, I'm in the similar position where I have 2 free transfers. Haaland, Jesus, Salah are going nowhere. Gross has really good numbers, as you say. You know, Fulham, I'm keeping him. Martinelli. I've got the 2 Chelsea lads, which are a bit of a pain in my backside. I've got the 2 Liverpool lads, Robertson, who I've been half debating getting a bit of cash back from. And I've had this proper, like, and I know, Bakar, you're exactly the man I need here, right? So there's a couple of things. I've 0.4 in the bank. I could get rid of Bailey and God knows what I do. Downgrade him, whatever. Maybe I can't upgrade because I don't have enough cash. I'm going to throw you a ludicrous thought I had midweek that everyone in the crowd's going to go, what a noob, right? But it's almost like, do you know what it is? There's so many people who watch content and they kind of go like, ooh, sick of the template. Ooh, you're all building the same teams, right? And it made me think, maybe they have a point. You know, maybe they have a point. What if I go balls to the wall, wild card just a few game weeks away, and I go Balubas, Bakar. I go absolutely mad. For anyone not from Ireland, Balubas just basically means going crazy. And I go something mad. Like, bye-bye Robertson, bye-bye Salah, bye-bye Archer. Hello Harry Kane, hello Lewis Dunk, and hello... How much would that leave me with? I worked this out in my head earlier. It was a decent midfielder. No,
Rodrigo?
Luis Diaz. I could afford Luis Diaz, Dunk, and Kane for Archer, Salah, and Robertson. -4. You have big man Harry in, scoring goals for fun. You get rid of Salah, but you're taking Diaz. You know, you're covering Liverpool, and you're going from Robertson down to a Dunk. That's a -4. That's exciting. It's aggressive. Wild card round the corner.
It's aggressive. I personally think that Salah is on another level to Kane, though. So that's, if you're doing it for a -4, I'm not really sure. Simply because of that one move. I expect Robertson and Diaz to score similarly. There's not much between them, right? That's a move you can just brush aside. So it's technically you moving Salah out for Kane for a -4, and I'm really not sure that's going to work.
You're picking up Dunk for Archer. That's the only other gain. You have a player there. But I hear you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. You have a very good playing 11. So you're basically strengthening the bench. Now, this is another point I'd actually like to make here. So a lot of people are using transfers to strengthen the bench. Is strengthening the bench right now really worth it? Because a lot of the players who might get rotated are likely to come on anyways with 5 subs, right? So I don't really know whether strengthening the bench has that much merit right now.
I hear you. I'd love to hear in the comments if people think I'm going absolutely crazy or whether they like the balls of it. Do they like the cojones? Are they looking at that going, imagine he did that? I'd love that. I don't know. I'm two minds. Part of me wants to play template Bakar. Part of me just wants to do the right thing. And the right thing is sitting on my hands because this team is beautiful. But equally, I have 2 free transfers, making some content, and I want to chase. I want to go hard. I want to make a name for myself in this space. I want next week for everyone to go.
It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's not a sprint.
It's 4 sprints, not a marathon this year, Bakar. You're wrong.
You'll get plenty of chances to attack. This is
You're
not
right.
the time.
You're right. Okay.
We have 38 game weeks regardless, right? That doesn't change.
You're right. You're right.
Just chill.
I just want to be a bit different, you know? I just want to like, oh.
So who's going to be your captain this week?
Haaland.
Yeah,
I've got it in Salah here, but it should be on Haaland. I don't know. Part of me, as I keep saying to you, the Chelsea lads are getting to me. Robertson's worrying me. Cancelo, I back. I do back Cancelo long term, like I do. So I don't know. Maybe I'm clutching. Maybe I'm just looking to do something for the sake of doing something.
I do think that is probably the case because you have a fantastic team. Now, if you had one free transfer, it would be an easy save. Honestly, in your shoes, John, I mean, we have a similar team. I would be doing something very similar. Actually, you have Bailey, so you can downgrade him to a 4.4 mids. I mean, there are plenty. I think Murphy's getting some minutes for Newcastle. You can get Murphy in for Bailey. That's probably what I would do.
Yeah. That's the thing, because I want that the other option was obviously like the Ramsdale downgrade, or I could have downgraded one of the defenders to get money. I've 0.4 in the bank, but Bailey probably is the guy to stick down to a playing 4.5,
Yeah.
4.4, and then I've got $1 million in the bank, and I'll have 2 free transfers again next week.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then maybe
Exactly.
whenever some of the fixtures are a bit harder, are they even? Are they even? Arsenal have United. Maybe you can make some moves, but it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, I hear
a-
you.
Anything else in that, Bakar?
I think we've covered everything
I think we've
perfectly.
covered that. If anyone wants to go and try that out, you know yourself, click the link in the description. Help the big man. Not the big man, that big, but this big man out. Convoluted plugs. But you can also help Bakar out. Go and find him on Twitter, and he does his team reveals. So head over to him if you want to see his team reveals. He'll have his own link on his Twitter. Bakar, we'll answer a few questions from people, then we'll hit the road, will we?
Sure.
Cool.
Sure. No worries.
So what I'll say to people in the comments is, just to try and get through as many as we can, throw in your genuine debates for this week that you have. Throw them in terms of like an A or B style question or yes or no. So if you're thinking, should I get X or Y, pop it in. We'll try and bang out as many as we can. And Bakar, I'm going to give you this challenge. I don't want the reason. I just want the answer.
Sure.
Because that means we can answer more. Because if you go giving us reasoning, while it's definitely very valuable, we're not solving as many problems. I want you to think in your head and make the call. So if I was to say to you, for example, Odegaard or Rodrigo, you say,
Rodrigo any day.
bang,
Any
done.
day.
It's the hardest thing in the world. Anytime I do this with an expert, they always want to tell me the reason, and it makes sense, and it's hard because you always feel like you need to caveat stuff. But let's keep it going. So, Kane or Haaland?
Haaland.
Jesus or Haaland?
Haaland.
Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, or Luis Diaz?
Luis Diaz.
St. Maximin, Odegaard, or Martinelli?
Martinelli.
Martinelli out, Odegaard in. That's obviously a no.
No.
Alvarez captain, worth it?
Pass.
Pass. Oh, starts Zinchenko this week? Yes or no?
He's unlikely to play. No.
No. Eze or Gross?
Gross.
Should I triple captain Haaland this week? Pass.
No.
Tony, yes or no?
Yes.
James for Ruben Diaz.
Yes.
Oh, well, why can't I do that?
No, he's saying James in, Diaz out, right?
Oh, you see, I'm thinking he's talking about James out for Ruben Diaz in, but you're thinking James in for Ruben. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm being an idiot. Okay.
Yeah, James in.
Saka out for Jesus or 2 sideways?
Yes. Sell. I
Sell,
don't think
do
it's
it.
sideways.
Perisic or Veltman? We have to assume you're getting them this week. So, like, the
Yeah,
longer
if
term.
buying one this week, then Welfman. Yeah, if you own both, then play Perisic.
Okay. Cancelo and Neto or Rodrigo and Dunk?
Cancelo and Neto.
Walker or Kukurea for Zinchenko?
Kukurea.
Martinelli or Gundogan? Gundogan.
Martinelli.
Sanchez or Ramsdale?
I wish I knew.
Let's see. Keep or sell Robbo?
Keep.
Saka out for Rodrigo.
Yes.
Rashford hold or sell?
No, hold, I think.
Hold? Okay.
Yeah.
Son or Richarlison?
Richarlison. I'm not really sure who's going to start this week, but from judging from Conte's comments, I think it could be Richarlison.
It's a lot of money too, isn't it? The difference.
Yeah.
Archer to Mitrovic.
Sure. Why not?
Sure, why not? I suppose it depends what you're giving up, but that's why this game's so fun, because no context applies. Aronson and De Silva to Gross and Colback for a -4.
I won't. Not this week.
No. Captain Gundogan or Kane? Wild card.
Captain Gundogan or Kane, I would probably go with Gundogan.
Prediction time. Who does better, Anthony or Isaac?
Isaac.
I think Isaac will do better. United are cursed. Salah out, Son in? No. James de Robbo?
No.
Okay. Andreas replacement?
Why? What's the need? I don't get it.
Oh, that's okay. James in for Trippier for a -4.
Yes.
Rashford to Diaz for a -4.
Yes, just about.
Subscribe to the Fantasy Football Hub YouTube channel. Yes or no?
Yes, for sure.
Absolutely. And like the video while you're here. Yes or no?
Smash that button, brother. Smash the like button.
Smash it. All right. We've already answered Captain Salah or Haaland. It's Haaland, Ben. You're going for Haaland. If you want to fall in with the boys. Martinelli de Gross.
No.
Okay, we'll do a few more. Messi or Ronaldo? I started reading that one. Messi or Ronaldo? Messi, yeah, Messi for me too.
Yeah.
Messi for me too. Side note, I watched PSG last week play against Lille, and I have never seen football like it in my life. It was the best football I've ever seen played. One touch flair, amazing football. I swear to God. Can't wait to see them in the Champions League. I'll also say, because we're getting towards the end, guys, you can also throw in completely irrelevant questions that are yes or no's or this or that's, because I can't wait to see Bakar's answers. So, Bailey out or no?
Yes, out.
Okay. Fofana or Saliba long term?
Long term. That's by long term I mean for the next 4 or 6 game weeks, as we're wildcarding after that anyway. If buying one right now, I'd probably go with Saliba.
Okay. Aronson sideways to Rodrigo for free. No -4s here.
It's not sideways. I would do it.
You would do it. Okay.
Yes.
This is hard. A lot of these coming in. Rodrigo for a hit. Kind of depends who you're getting rid of. Pineapple on pizza? Resounding yes.
I don't like it.
I love it. I love it. Love it. Harrison or Gross?
Gross.
Okay. PSG or Bayern? Who do better in the Champions League?
Bayern, I think.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. Time will tell. Ooh. I don't know. There's a lot of fun questions here. Whiskey or vodka? Do you drink Bakar?
No, I don't.
I couldn't see you
Why
drinking.
don't you take that one?
Depends on the night. We'll say that. If we're going out for a long time and hitting the club, maybe a few skinny bitches, vodka, sparkling water, dash of lime. I know I don't look like a skinny bitch type of guy, but if I want to feel sophisticated and I'm playing a board game with the boys, I'll have a nice whiskey. Redbreast 12 here, my choice. Okay. Tony or Mitrovic?
Tony right now.
Tony right now. Bailey or Jensen?
Neither.
Saliba or Van Dijk?
Saliba.
Okay. I think we're getting there. Are there any more you see there, Bakar, that you want to take?
I think we're fine. We're fine with whatever we've covered. If there's anything, I don't think
Bakar's head is wrecked from it.
I don't think there's anything more to answer.
I don't want any more. Don't make me do it. Okay. The big man's
Oh,
tired.
God.
All right. Well, look, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. You can find Bakar at BigManBakar on Twitter. You can find me at John Nellis. I'm putting out loads of TikToks and Instagrams too if you look up my name. And yeah, Bakar, anything else before we go?
I think we're done.
I think we're done. I'm sick of this. Spuds or potatoes? Spuds. All right. We'll see you later, guys.
I love potatoes.
Thanks for being here. Do you?
Yeah.
What's your favorite way to have a potato?
French fries.
Okay. I love a good creamy mash. Kevin Pereira has been asking me to call out